Hi, shepherding team. I was hoping that we would able to put together a Google Hangout last night, but we weren't able to pull all that off. And I wanted us to talk about some things, so I'm going to initiate it through what I call a YouTube meeting. So what I'm going to do during the course of this time is share with you an idea and some things that I've been thinking of and praying about, and I want you to consider them. And then what I'd have you do is I'll have you respond via email some of your thoughts. If you're in or you're out, what do you have some initial thoughts? So that's how all this works. So first, I want to say thank you very much. The last year has been an experiment for us. It's only been a little over a year ago that we started this thing called the shepherding team. And as I described a year ago, I wanted the shepherding team to sit in that place really between where small groups can't fit. I wanted the shepherding team to address issues that were too big for a small group, or perhaps a person who's not fitting in a small group. However, over this last year, I've been watching a lot of things that this group has been doing has been dealing with some financial needs, probably more than anything. And so I want to suggest that we expand the scope of shepherding team, and not only expand the scope of shepherding team, but I also want to have you guys consider expanding the membership of the shepherding team. So one of the things I've been observing in Discovery is our greatest need right now is to help the unconnected get connected into spiritual families called groups. And we have a lot of people in the Discovery family who are not really connected into a group yet. And the process of them moving into a group requires the church being the church for them. In other words, they will come a week or two and enjoy the experience, enjoy what their kids are receiving, enjoy the time of worship, maybe enjoy the teaching. They enjoy the friendliness. But one of the things that we've heard over and over again from people who are new to Discovery is that we're really good in the first couple of weeks, but we struggle in the weeks following. So what that tells me is that we're struggling to really be the church for people who are not yet really engaged in small groups. And that probably is one of the reasons why people are struggling to get connected into small groups. People have trust issues. They walk into a church and it takes some time to develop trust before they'll take the next step to get in a group. People are inexperienced with what church is about, and in their mind, church really is an hour on Sundays. And then they have a crisis or a difficulty or a doubt, and they don't really know who to go to or where to turn. So I want to help us as a church find a way to fill that gap. I think it would be a great role of the shepherding team to oversee the movement of people from unconnected to connected, as well as meeting the needs of people in crisis beyond the scope of small groups. To do that, I would like to send out some communication to all group leaders and ask group leaders to nominate a person or persons that they believe have shown the ability to care well for people. And I would like the shepherding team to grow to be a team of maybe a dozen people, much like the first team formed in the book of Acts, when we had the conflict among the widows. And there was this conflict, and some of the widows were being overlooked. And so they went to the church leaders, and the church leaders said, you appoint some people to make sure that your needs are being met. And so this was the beginning of what we call deacon ministry. I would like us to expand the scope of the shepherding team, so that it is dealing still with crisis, dealing with people that have financial needs or emotional needs, physical needs. But I also like the team to gather every month and talk about unconnected people that need to be connected, people who really need the shepherd staff. They need that shepherd hook. They need someone to go out and get them and not let them fall away. And that dream I have for that is too big for the current size of the team, and it would mean that we change a few things. Barb does a really fantastic job of keeping track of guests, keeping track of the unconnected. And so I've already brought this idea to her and asked her if she would help facilitate every month a discussion about who is and is not connected. And then actually during that time to to give out names so that people on the shepherding team would then take 1 or 2 names, and over the course of that month, make some phone calls, send some texts, try to meet them after church, possibly take them to a cup of coffee. And the shepherding team's role would be to meet the person and help move them into a ministry or a small group. It would change some things. I think that we could do our meetings a little different. I know that we've had some struggles meeting together. I would propose maybe considering moving the shepherding team meeting to a Sunday afternoon, maybe right after the second service, or perhaps go to a format that's like a Skype meeting. But I really think that we as a church can do better at caring for people who are not yet connected, who are still struggling with trust issues, spiritual growth things, spiritual growth issues. And I just want to see what you think about it. So if you would, I'd like you to, after watching this short video, I'd like you to send me an email reply, do a reply all, and let me know what you think. Maybe some questions you have, some suggestions, and if it's something you're up to or not. I'd like to move quickly if we're all on board. And if we're not on board, then we'll go a different direction. So thank you again so much for all that you do and your care that you provide for people. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.